So while you may have people like me who don't get all of the politics in here, and then there's guys like you, especially you, who understand that. So while Chris is over there making fun of me, oh, you don't get all this political shit. I'm making fun of Chris. Say, Mark, you don't get all this hip hop shit.
I don't. I did not know those references.
Yeah,
That sounds nice though.
But I like that horn. Now let's go ahead and get to our review right now. And who knew? Who knew, Martin? You're a historian right here. You might have known this. You might have known this, that back in the day when our founding fathers were out there helping to shape America, that they were also writing some dope rhymes, dropping bars, fire. Yeah, man, that's a rap album cover right there.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Actually.
get free or die trying. Yeah, man, classic right there. Truly some insane times that we live in right now. All this racial tension and divide that's going on right now. And yet, the most popular version of our founding fathers are the black and Latino ones right now. Mm-hmm. The ones where we got black and Latino people in cosplay.
Hey, it's the most inclusive.
Yep.
It is. It really is. We're talking about Hamilton.
Act of creation, I'm laughing in the face of casualties of sorrow. For the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow.
I was under that rock for a long ass time. But yeah, I'm a Hamilton virgin, man. And the other part of it was that I figured that once it got popular and I heard how great it was, I thought I was gonna be the one. You know, I'm saving up for the day. I got my $3,000. So I can go get that VIP seat.
Oh, please.
Get the full Hamilton experience. Hang backstage with the crew for a little bit. Good job, Miranda. Good job. Good job, sir. Yeah, you know.
You're more like the guy who probably seen. I'll wait till it gets to theaters when they do that adaptation of it. Like I think a lot of people were.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what has happened so often with the popular Broadway musicals. You're like, well, okay, I don't know when, if ever, I'll get to New York. I guess I'll wait till it's a road show and comes to my town.
Yeah.
And then it gets to your town, you're like, man, I don't want to pay that much.
Yeah.
I just wait for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. By that time, you watching the goddamn high school play version. That's my baby up there. You the one the tights in the background, holding the rope. But yeah, man. Hey, I tell you what, being a cheap ass hipster has its perks though. I was able to save $2,997. Waiting for this shit to come to Disney Plus. But you know me, I saved $3,000 and I was able to have every angle that was impossible to have with those seats right there. I was able to get up in people's faces and see the nuances that y'all didn't catch.
No, I know in the beginning you had to be a celebrity to be able to even be able to buy one of those $3,000 tickets.
Wow.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, they put you on a list. You had to be on a
Okay.
waiting list. You had to know a guy who knew a girl who knew a guy who knew another guy. Yeah, man, they had
No,
you on-
seriously, there was a point where Jimmy Kimmel had tickets, and then he got bumped for Oprah.
Wow.
which serves him right for all the years he spent.
I was gonna say Oprah did that shit on purpose.
In hindsight, it's like, it is pretty funny.
Let me know when Jimmy come up here and buy a ticket. Yeah, I'm gonna fix your ass. Yeah, laugh at this motherfucker. Yeah, man. But now it's on Disney Plus. It's accessible to everybody. And while it is not the same as watching it live, you are getting a different experience than most people did.
This is Hamilton.
And let me say this, as somebody who has not seen this at all, I will say that this is so good. I was mad at myself.
You mean?
My conscience, my body just said, you denied me this shit for this long so you could be cool, or you were waiting to go see this shit. When, nigga, you ain't got no money to go see this. Why were you waiting so long? You should have bootlegged that shit like Martin right there. At least you should have listened to the songs. You ain't got no excuse, man. It's on Spotify, one of the most listened things on Spotify. Listen, you might not have made it out to the play, but why did you deny yourself any of this? I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I wasn't gonna take a shit. I just walked in the mirror, not even looking at watching the bathroom. I looking at the mirror. I was like, "What? You don't deserve a reflection right now."
Okay, here's why I don't blame you. Because often when something's popular and you don't see it at first, it gets so hyped that by the time you get to it, you're like, man, all that hype for this, you guys put me up here and I'm let down. Or sometimes the stuff is like, y'all just wanted something so bad, you built this into something more than what it was.
Yeah.
So after so many letdowns, you're like, why put myself through this? And this is one of those rare cases where it's like, oh, you guys were dead on.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and there was a little part of me that's saying, people might have built this up, but really so many people. A couple of people told me that they'd seen it, and they said, you got to go see this. If you haven't had any experience with this at all, just wait. And then I read that online, like, and I thought some people might have been full of shit, but there's nothing like seeing it live. You can try to watch it in some other form, but you won't get the full experience, just like I said on the screen right there. Experience! But now that I've seen it, I'm that annoying asshole that's going around I'm like the guy at a party.
Now you're Paul Revere. Yeah, hear ye. Have you seen Hamilton, sir? Have you seen Hamilton?
I'm like that guy at a party who I'm like the last one to find out what the cool thing is. I'm going up to groups of people like, man, have y'all heard about this thing called Hamilton? And people are like, you kidding me?
Yeah, like
no, man.
like 4 years ago.
Man, y'all heard about this shit called Hamilton? Boy, y'all better get on that. Yeah, we been on that. Away from us. Yeah, I feel like that's the thing that sucks, because I want to go around and tell everybody, man, Hamilton is awesome. Shut the up. Seen it. Mine is blown with this. Y'all know me. I don't ever look at, man, you know me. I look at something, I'll be the first to be like, shh, whatever. You've just been told to like this. You do what society tells you to do. But
great, you're bandwagoning too, huh?
Yeah. But my God, I sit up here and I really don't want to be this guy. I really don't. I don't want to be the one to sit up here and say what everybody's saying, but I think my eyes have seen genius with this. Mm-hmm. This is incredible.
It is.
The concept of it is mainly the life of Alexander Hamilton, dubbed here as the forgotten founder, the man who didn't get his due. Mm-hmm. Everybody out there getting high praise, getting their faces on high landmarks, and all he got was a $10 bill. Mm-hmm. Right? And people can't even tell you who's on the $10 bill. Because people don't even care about the $10 bill. Ain't nobody talking about.
It's all about the Benjamins.
All about the Benjamins. It ain't about the Hamiltons. Ain't nobody ever said nothing about no Hamiltons. Yeah. With him being dubbed the forgotten founder, how he was the architect and influence over so many things. He was the architect of our banking system. His political influence on other bigger historical figures like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Mm-hmm. But now that I see it, now that I've been able to see the play, I get how huge this is. I get why this is why it became so big. This is a miracle of a production right here, man.
The idea of having a diverse race cast just to bring home the inclusiveness of this story.
Yeah.
To make it not just, okay, it was these white guys who put all this together, but just how universal so much of this is.
Yeah. No, that's one of the things I think has the lasting power right here. So that's it brings together all these unlikely elements, but also with that, it's bringing together a lot of unlikely groups. It is in having them bond over one common thing right here, where it seems like none of these things would fit. None of these pieces would fit. The history buffs. Political history buffs out there.
Yeah, no, that again, that's the thing that
the amazing stage production in the theater people that they're bringing in, and also the music.
Yeah,
the music here. So you have, especially with hip hop music. Mm-hmm. So that's the one that's kind of bringing in the history buff, the theater people, and the mainstream is brought in through the music. That's how they get everybody else. Sure. Mm-hmm. That's when they open the doors to everybody. You think I'm bringing all this stuff together? Like, who the thinks like this? To bring this all into one production. This man right here, Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's crazy. The last time I remember being introduced to this guy, not introduced personally, but seeing him, like even seeing his face without knowing who he was. Mm-hmm. This fool was on Electric Company trying to teach people the letter G.
My name is Soft G.
I wonder how much he smoked before that to get into character.
I forgot they did a newer electric company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember this, because I used to like this number right here. Like, I don't remember a whole lot about about Electric Company, but I remember that one right there before I even knew his name. And this is way before Hamilton. This is like 2012, 2011, something like that, man, when I saw that. I can tell you, as a newbie with this, it is the music that's getting people in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, now with this, people they're gonna come out and they're gonna comment on the politics of it, because that's the smart thing to come in and do. Oh, it's so detailed and you know, so factual, and people, you know, all the history in here is so great how they got it all right. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand half that shit. All right, I'm not gonna bullshit you. I think.
I mean, I liked it though.
No, I'm not saying I didn't like it, but I'm just saying, look, it's a lot of detail in there. I'm giving this a compliment. It's very dense. We're talking about almost 3 hours of, minus the bits of drama they have in there. They talking about politics. Look, you can call me dumb. I'll call myself dumb. I didn't understand half that shit. All right, it's gonna take me another 4 or 5 listens, and I don't mind doing it to get what was really going on. And I'll watch it again sometime. I will listen to it again. I'll pick it up. But I know I'm not the only one. I know there's people who are going in here and they're like, I don't even give a fuck about what's happening. This music is so amazing. on repeated viewings, I think that's how people are getting the story, because on repeated viewings, people are going back for the music, and then they're listening to it and like, oh shit, I missed this part right here.
Yeah.
Man, this thing keeps giving. I think it's like, oh,
yeah.
That's what that meant.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that character's motivation was. Oh, it's all coming together now. And it's not just like a bunch of great musical numbers. This story is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I picked up more the second time.
I think what also helps with it is that it doesn't. There really isn't a moment where they're just people talking.
Yeah.
For the most part, like they just go into song each and every time.
Yeah, it's one of those musicals where everything is in song.
Which is good. So you never have those low moments. You never had that moments like, okay, what the hell they were talking about? Because here's the next song, and it's just washing over you again. So yeah, I kind of like that. That was cool.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, the way that Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote this, I don't know how much he had to do with all the music. I'm sure he had some help with this, but even on a conceptual level, it's amazing. But you can already tell, even on a conceptual level, his knowledge of theater, history, and hip hop, combining all that together, that's insane what he's done. I know y'all look like, man, Cole, we knew all this 4 years ago. Fuck you. You let me gush. My mind is blown.
Well, you know there's going to be new people out there who are finding like, oh, well, it's on Disney Plus. I guess I'll watch it. I mean, I guess people keep talking about it.
Yeah.
It's finally something new on this channel. And, oh, it's 3 hours? Oh, man, I don't know if I want to devote 3 hours. And I know I would say this. Okay, tell you what, just watch some of it. Say you watch the first act. It's broken into 2 acts. I guarantee it breaks for intermission, and if I was to come to you and say, okay, that's fine, you don't have to watch the second act, you'd be like, well, I kind of want to see what happens after this.
Yeah, unless you're my wife, but that's another story. She got up, I was like, where the f*** you going? You disrespecting Hamilton over here. I was mad. She got up and was like, I'm going to get some fresh air. I was like, no. You don't just get up and walk out on this shit.
He wasn't like, well, it's not my country.
No, the fuck? Yeah, she was kind of like that. No. She's like, I don't understand this any more than you do. I'm out. So she left. I was mad. I looked at the dog like, you see this shit? The dogs were paying more attention to this shit than my wife was. They were into it. But man, if this looks like this is something gonna throw you off because musicals are not your number, his love of hip hop in here and his knowledge of hip hop is amazing. If you are a fan of 80s and 90s hip hop, especially like golden ages of hip hop, so-called golden ages of hip hop, early years of hip hop, then you're gonna have a lot of fun just listening for all of the references and all of the Easter eggs that are in there. I heard so many things from, I'm just going to name up. This might not mean anything to hip hop people. For those who are in hip hop, you'll know. I heard so many things from right from the beginning, like Mobb Deep, a line from Shook Ones. I heard like Notorious B.I.G., the Crack 10 Commandments, and you'll hear it. DMX was in there. Grandmaster Flash was thrown down. All these things, and it's like you listen to it like, oh my God, this is like just a big Easter egg parade of of references right here, man. It's fun on that level. It's even fashioned around. Let's put in things that even sound like samples, and you hear the record playing, and you hear actual samples being used briefly in there. One of your favorite numbers was what was it called?
I have two.
Well,
In the Room Where It Happens. Yeah.
The Room Where It Happens, which it's a very stage show piece, complete where they're playing like a banjo or something in the background, but it's that it's that hip hop twist to it that makes it sound so good and so accessible too for people who might not be in the stage musical numbers.
No one else was in the room where it happened. Where it happened.
He's like, got your it's good. He was over there. I knew he'd get it. Chris over there bobbing his head and singing the words. I think he was doing a little air banjo.
Now just snapping.
Oh, they're playing like Kermit and the Muppets. What's that guy? Louis Odell Jr. Is that his name?
Leslie Odom.
Leslie Odell Jr.
Odom.
That's it. Odom Odell Jr. Who does he play in this?
Aaron Burr.
Yeah, the guy that got into a duel with Alexander Hamilton. They started out as friends. They at the beginning became mortal enemies by the time it's done.
He's kind of framed as I wouldn't say villain of the piece, but certainly the one who's like causing most of the problems in the
what it
the
was,
play.
at least I got this from it. I can tell you this because I love beef. It's one of the first rap beefs to go on. You had Hamilton just saying, hey, look, man, there was some political shit going on.
Yeah.
He didn't back him up on a certain thing. And he said, look, the thing is, the difference between you and me is like, you told me early on to play it safe. That's why you ain't shit, because you playing it safe. I'm out here like disrupting things, man. So, yeah, I ain't got your back on things. They're like, all right, you. It was some rap beef going on, man. So while you may have people like me who don't get all of the politics in here, and then there's guys like you, especially you, who understand that. So while Chris is over there making fun of me, he don't get all this political shit. I'm making fun of Chris. Say, he don't get all this hip hop shit.
I don't. I did not know those references.
Yeah,
that sounds nice though.
But I like that horn.
Very true. You feel like you two are gonna walk off at 10 paces.
Yeah. But you know what it does? It combines other music outside of that. It's just so much different styles of music that if you are just a music fan, or you're old enough to know a lot of different kinds of music, you'll recognize different things.
Well, that's something because I'll see people complain. It's like, oh man, I just don't like rap, or I can't understand what they're saying because they're rapping so much of it. To which I would say, yeah, it does make it harder to follow. So I would tell everyone, hey, first time you watch it, put on the subtitles. It'll help a lot.
Yeah.
But also, if you feel that way, a lot of people get turned around when they get to the King George number, because that's just straight singing.
That's the one.
Yeah, well, the King George number played by actor Jonathan Groff, who's great in this, man.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Who's pretty amazing in this. If you listen to his number, he does sort of a breakup song. He's talking about, America, go ahead. Go on with your punk ass. You'll be back. You come back to me.
Thought we had something. All right, you're gonna go this way.
Yeah. They always come back, bitch. I'll be here. But his is done in the style of a '60s, very, 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 very '60s pop song.
You remember you belong to me.
If you listen to that, because I was listening to it, I'm like, that reminds me of another song. I was sitting up here just thinking. My wife even saw me on my phone. I was like, this reminds me of a song. What is it? What does it remind you of?
I can't peg it. And I love 60s pop music.
The moment it came up, I went through a couple artists. Like, I finally got to it. I was like, that's what it is.
Oh, I could hide.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
How did I not catch that?
That's Daydream Believer, man.
Yeah.
It's been done by a few people, but I used to love the Monkees when I was a kid.
Me too.
And I remember.
I love them now. I think I love them now more than I did before.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I used to watch the show. So they take direct references from other genres of music. I guess maybe it was for King George, because King George, they took a very poppy song from the 60s because he's one of the few white characters on the cast.
Sure. And British, because he's overdoing the British accent.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's very much British invasion kind of music.
And he's doing it on purpose. I tell you, though, if he did want to get into hip-hop and spit some bars, he could do it as he literally spits on stage. And people,
I love that spittle. Spittle what sells it, man. I love that.
I know. Like somebody who's trying to be cool, but they're really seething and frothing at the mouth.
And that's Mad King George.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's like those spitting dinosaurs on Jurassic Park, man.
No, don't change the subject. No, don't change the
It was like when it was done, I'm like, God damn. I had to wipe my eyes. I was like, shit, I got corona now.
Sit in the front row. You got to have a tarp like at a Gallagher
You need
show.
the man up. You can pull it up. Oh, he's coming.
You go to sit down and like you might want this an umbrella. I don't understand.
No, don't change the subject.
That's a lot of spittle. That's a few gobs of spittle.
Man, was he hungry and somebody had a sandwich off stage? He was slobbering and shit.
I still feel like they infused it with so many different other types of music
Oh, yeah.
that I don't know. It just it worked for me.
Oh, yeah.
and I kind of like that. I guess it made it more palpable for myself. So I like that.
Well, again, like I said, man, that's the incredible thing about this is that all these things were able to be fused together where nobody recognizes it as, oh, this is just straight hip hop. Oh, this is a straight history lesson. All this stuff blends together that even when you don't have to listen to it in parts, you listen to it all blended together, and everybody is into it, man.
There's something for everybody here. If you were to come into it and go like, I don't know if this is for me, stick around.
That inclusion of using people of different colors to tell this story, I think is what is really resonating with a lot of people out there. People who normally wouldn't be into this. It transcends all of the political details that you see going on here. More than when this was made years ago. This premiered in 2015, I believe. Like I said, he's working. Lin-Manuel Miranda was working on this. What I hear different things, but I hear 7 years consistently. During that time, he was doing a lot of things and writing a lot of stuff, dealing with issues that have what they talk about here deals with what they're doing here today, with what's going on today. Who would have known when he was writing a story? I don't know, and maybe they added this later. I don't know. They could have added. Maybe it's going. I don't know. This is my first time with this, but this whole thing about immigrants, was that added in later, or was that part of the story the whole time?
Well, Alexander Hamilton is known for being an immigrant. He's from the Caribbean. So I don't know if it was added in, but it feels natural to the story. So it's just oh shit, it's even more relevant now than ever. I kind of like that.
How immigrants had a role in forming this country,
which he did.
Yeah, and even though there's a lot of political talk about Alexander Hamilton, but in the play, he's kind of presented as I'll show you Lin-Manuel Miranda playing him. In the play, he's presented as a political architect, but also he's got an entrepreneurial spirit to him that I think appeals to a lot of people. It's really a sense of no matter your background, more than the real story of America. This kind of sells the whole thing of you can do anything you want to do. Yeah. Well, enough hard work behind you.
Slightly more than Aunt Jemima. His story is of the American dream, where he was born. He was illegitimate and raised in an orphanage and an immigrant, and still came over and did all these amazing things just by his will of spirit. The fact that he was just like, I got to do more. I got to do better. There's more I want to do.
Yeah, they open up the play saying, "You a bastard and your mama's a hoe." Pretty much at the beginning saying you ain't shit. So. How did you get all of this?
Ridden half dead, sitting in their own sick, the scent thick.
And that's Philippa Sue, who plays one of the Schuyler sisters, his wife, in the movie where they show them getting married. All the heavy stuff aside, it's just an amazingly produced musical. You can go into all the details and everything, but damn, even without all that, it might not have been like held as a genius piece of work it is right now, but people have been like, that's a damn good play. That's a damn good production that's going on right there.
All one set too.
Yep.
They don't really change the background except for a few items up in front.
Yeah. As I said, the Disney Plus experience, I mean, live is one thing, as I said, but even if you've seen before, you're getting a different experience there because they had to. They did this on 3 different performances. I think they did 2 of them with an audience, and then they did 1 with no audience, so they could be on stage with cameras and catching people's faces.
Okay.
Makes sense. So,
it's funny because with when it ended with this, I was looking at the audience, people sitting in the front row, and they were just wearing T-shirts and shorts, and I was like, what is this? How would I pay $3,000 to go to the show and just dress any kind of way?
You paid for it. That's
in New York.
It's Renee Ellis Goldsberry, though, who gets like a huge number here. And that number is great, man. It's one of the – some people even said that, like, look, the drama's good. but the political stuff is a little bit better. But they always mention this number right here with one of the Schuyler sisters as being incredible.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, this motherfucker drunk again. Told his ass quit drinking before the show. Just make it part of the show.
I got a big laugh.
Yeah, just go with it.
Satisfied.
You know, my favorite though in here was David Diggs, man. David Diggs. Sorry, David. I don't know. David. Yeah, David. Yeah, nigga, you David. David Diggs.
David Diggs.
David Diggs. God damn it. Shit, him. This dude. Who played Jefferson. He played two roles. Two roles
Yeah,
in
a
this.
lot of the actors play 2 roles.
Yeah. He played like one.
He was Lafayette at first, and then he was Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, like the guy you just saw who like, all right. He played Hamilton's son later on in the movie. Then he played, I forgot his name in the movie, but one of the guys who was early on helping with the revolution. But David Diggs, I loved him as Jefferson, man.
Yeah.
He had this whole role where he was very cocky, almost flamboyant in a way.
Francophile.
Yeah, man. I loved some of his musical numbers were my favorite. My favorite was when he was in
The rap battle.
No, the rap battle is amazing. That rap battle is amazing, man. I love what they do with the culture here. They have a debate, a political debate that's done like a rap battle. Love that. But I love his introduction. He just comes out. He gets the crowd going out there. He's like, "Oh, hello, people. Hello, hello." And he has just some of my favorite music. Even with him not singing, I love the music itself. But with him in there, it's definitely amazing.
So what did I miss? What did I miss?
Yeah, you were so dignified.
He don't give a shit.
You don't give a shit. Nope. That was a great blues number, and your ass got slavish as fuck. Nah, it's a great number though. It really is. I know there's been questions about how historically accurate this is. To which my response is black and brown people playing the founding fathers. That it wasn't historically accurate when they cast the shit. So, I don't know how much you can say about that. Now, there are details in there. What they mean by the historical accuracy of this is, they'll mention things like the dark history of slavery with these guys, which is a valid point because being that this was made back in when it premiered back in 2015. Because I have to say, I do admire them for not taking that predictable route with it, being a cast of, black and brown people. It's definitely made it more accessible for a lot of people. You can go watch this guilt-free. And also at the same time, if you think about it, if they were to address slavery.
Who would play the slaves?
It's black people owning black people, so it gets a little tricky. So I do appreciate they didn't have to go that route with it. That's where I would only say it feels like it's slightly outdated now because while everybody's talking about we got to address these dark issues of history, this dark past of history, especially with the founding fathers, that's not in there at all. It doesn't address that at all. Which, like I said, for some people, it didn't bring the presentation down for me. Not at all. I will say that it is a valid point that people make. I'm not going to be one of those people like, oh, shut up and enjoy it. With what's going on today, if somebody was to get into it and say, you know what, I haven't seen this before, now I'll watch it, with them not addressing, it almost seem like they're just, glorifying these people and not their past. I can get it.
But they do mention Hamilton being an abolitionist.
Yeah.
They do mention
And
it,
his
but
friends.
people have said
2 or
like
3 times.
Yeah, no, I've caught some lines in there. Like there was even a line where they say, when they were doing their rap battle. Oh, what's the rap?
Yeah, the
battle?
rap battle of Jefferson. Yeah.
But Jefferson is like,
it's not you planting those seeds in the ground or something like
yeah,
that.
it was something about you talk about labor when you're not doing the labor. But there was slight things like that. It's easy to miss.
It wasn't the focus of it, but it wasn't mentioned.
It was mentioned, but again, mentioning is if you miss, you can miss it. It's just a slight. Well, here it is, right here. We did our part. Again, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. If people want to see it and say that it feels outdated because of that, I get it. I don't think it ruins the play at all. I don't think it ruins anything with that. You have to look at it like a guy came up with a concept and made it his way, and that's it. If you go in there looking for history, then I think you'll be happy with some things they got right, and there's a possibility you might be disappointed. But other than that, I think that it's It's an amazing thing they've done here. Go ahead.
Well, I would say don't look at a history lesson in as much as you can't learn all of American history in 3 hours. I mean, it's a long amount of time, but it's not nearly enough time to learn American history. And if you were to look up the things they talk about, which everybody's been doing this weekend, you'll see that the vast majority of it is accurate. And that's refreshing to know that, hey, this wasn't just done on a whim. Mm-hmm. There was really a lot of work put behind it. And the idea was to make it accurate so that it felt real. It's a better than second thing for me.
Yeah, what about you?
I'm not gonna pretend to know like how Lin-Manuel Miranda like thinks and how he came up with the concept, but maybe the reason why he has people of color in these roles is because it's kind of, in a way, it's representing Alexander Hamilton, this lost, forgotten historical figure, this founding father. But he's also casting black and Latino actors in these roles because these people have also been forgotten by history, or they never been emphasized in real historical events. So maybe that's why he's, or in the entertainment industry in general, until like recently, until now. And so maybe that's kind of why he has them playing these roles. At least that's how I figured it. And, you know, I'm trying to make sense of it myself. But no, to everyone's point, no, like I'm ignorant when it comes to music. I've admitted that multiple times. But just letting these songs kind of wash over you and getting exposed to different types of genres, you know, hip hop and rap and also classical stuff. It's like, I think that was really cool. And the somewhat of the historical accuracy is like really refreshing, because this play, this musical, taught more about Alexander Hamilton than any social studies, any history class in middle school or high school America. There's no doubt about it. And so I really admire that about this thing. So I'd have to give it a better than Sex. No complaints whatsoever.
As somebody who saw this for the first time, it not only do you see what people are talking about, but you really do feel like, God damn, what took me so long? You understand, to come in and just, you feel like part of the club now.
You're the pity member, though. It's like, we eventually have to let him in. It's been years.
Yeah, let him in. Jesus.
And just indulge him. Let him get it out of his system.
Yeah. Nah, I'm going to be that annoying person. If you come around me, I'm going to want to talk Hamilton with you, because I have to talk about it. I have to. I did, like I said, man, it only feels like just a slight weird timing with it. It does feel slightly out of date with what's going on right now. But other than that, I'm jealous of the people who were able to go see this and have I'm jealous of the people who were able to see this before it even hit Broadway.
Oh, I know.
Right? This was off Broadway for a long time.
But think about it. If you saw it then, you went out telling everybody, you don't understand. And everybody's like, yeah, okay.
And you know what
No, I'm trying to tell you. You have to go see this. Get the fuck.
Oh, that would be even better. You'll see. You'll all see. You're all fools.
I was in the room where it happened. The room where it happened.
Yeah, but you that guy then after you've been fired from your job, you're living on a park bench, just people coming up like, man, you were right. I just saw it. It's incredible. Get off, man. Give me $1.
They called me crazy. I told them first. No, not again. No. Yeah, I give it an extremely high full price. It's right behind it, Better Than Sex for me. But yeah, I can't wait to not even watch it again, but just kind of put it on in the background.
Oh, sure.
I'm doing
Listen to
stuff,
it all the time.
Mm-hmm.